and welcome to the GMBN Tech Show. Today we talk about the new Aluminium YT Capra.
Yes, plus we've got 100% recyclable carbon wheels from Chris King.
We do indeed. And also, Specialized release another 3D printed saddle.
Okay, Anna, today's top tech discussion is carbon low spec or aluminium high spec for the same money.
Yeah, well, that was my original idea to chat, but actually, as I started doing my research, I struggled to find a really high-spec aluminium, fully built aluminium frame, which was a little bit frustrating. But what we can do is compare some prices. So if I put it into context here, what the difference is in prices, then maybe we can chat about what you would go for. So obviously YT have released the new Aluminium Capra, which we'll talk about in the news soon. But just to put it into context, the Aluminium Core 2, which is the Aluminium Capra, with an NX build and Fox 38 performance, we're talking just over €3,000 here, so 3,199. Now, if you were to get a similar build on the Capra in carbon, we're talking 4,499.
Wow.
So you are saving €1,300 there. What are you saying?
So for a very similar spec, but just two different frame materials, basically.
Yes.
Tricky, isn't it? Because, well, I would guess when it comes to making the two frames, you've got moulds and the actual manufacturing of the carbon, which costs more.
It does, yeah. I'm not questioning where that money goes at all.
Yeah.
It absolutely, does warrant the extra cost.
Yeah.
But as a buyer, would you say you would want to pay an extra £1,300 to get a carbon frame?
Oh, that's tricky, isn't it? I think, do you know what? That depends on your budget.
Yep.
Because a lot of people still want really good parts and they actually want the reliability of an aluminium frame. Like, if you maybe drop it or chip it or something like that, you're not quite as stressed or worried about it. They, budget, also the kind of riding you do.
Yeah.
A lot of little bike park people out there and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Love a good aluminium frame.
The carbon can often save about a kilo in weight. So I had a look at the Santa Cruz because they do exact builds. They're exactly the same, just a different material. And it saved you a kilo in weight to go to carbon. So that might be appealing. Obviously, the ride quality is a little bit different. Aluminium's got some sort of different damping qualities, I would say, when you sort of ride over rough terrain. But what you said about Trail Centre, absolutely true. I've got some real sender friends out there who don't want carbon because they just they do too many crazy things on it, and it's just better to be able to sort of damage your frame and carry on.
Yeah, so an aluminium bike's going to take the sting out of the trail a little bit, and also if you are a big old sender, well, there's two different sides to this carbon aluminium debate, I guess. If you're a big old sender, aluminium's going to bend rather than suddenly snap underneath you. But say if you're an XC whippet, well, then you want to save weight, don't you? So that's where the carbon comes in.
True, very, very true. Also, so going back to the original topic, is I thought about this. If you save £1,000 on frame, for example, you could put that into components if you were building it yourself. So although I struggled to find a top spec build, going from performance 38s, for example, Fox 38s, to factory is about £200 extra.
Yeah.
And then rear shock, around about the same, £200. You could actually go from SRAM NX to SRAM GX Axis, which is an extra £600-ish. So we've got £1,000 there.
Wow.
So would you go for a carbon NX SRAM build with performance suspension, or an aluminium build with performance factory Fox front and rear, and then Axis group set?
Okay,
super blingy.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a really tough thing, isn't it? Because you must have heard the saying, you can't polish a turd, but you can roll it in glitter. Yeah?
I would not consider Fox factory just a bit of glitter.
Let me just clarify a little bit. So what I mean is, if you have a really good carbon frame, well, then you've got the basis to build around that and put, slowly upgrade and make it really good. And I'm not calling aluminium frames turds at all. I would just like to say that. But what I mean is, you'll get an aluminium frame, spend hundreds of pounds putting possibly, trying to make it a bit lighter and better. But at the end of the day, unless it's what you want, you are still building around an aluminium frame. So you've rolled it in glitter.
I agree. A crap frame you wouldn't want to save money on.
Yeah.
But if we're talking Santa Cruz carbon versus exactly the same geometry, exactly the same attention to quality, but aluminium, and you save £1,000, I would always go for factory. I'm sorry, maybe I'm a snob, but the better performance on suspension is more important to me. But hey, what about you guys out there? Let us know down in the comments below. Join the debate. Would you rather have an aluminium frame with a high spec or a carbon frame with a slightly lower spec? Would saving money, push you towards aluminium instead of carbon? Let us know what you think.
Anna, it's time for a rather favourite part of the show. It's the news segment.
Wow.
Yeah, because I like to keep up with the world of tech and know what's going on.
Do you? That's what I think when I think of you.
Wow, getting called out. You may have got me there. Well, look, anyway, the first bit of news I've got for everyone out there is that YT have released a new aluminium version of their Capra 2, sharing all the same geometry and details as their carbon version. This thing is a much more affordable version. It comes in at around €3,200. Lots of different sizes available. You might have to help me on this one. There are Fox versions and there are Rock Chalk versions, aren't there?
So the core range has, they might have some Rock Shocks, but the core 2 is like the new model, which is the aluminium model, which they've done an aluminium before in the Uncaged 9, which we were chatting about earlier. But that was only mixed wheels, and it was an Öhlins special edition.
It was a one-off, wasn't it?
Yeah, so this core 2 is basically the same as the core 3 and the core 4, I think it is, which are carbon models, but the core 2 is now aluminium.
Great. So a really good option, actually, for people not wanting that carbon version.
Yeah, basically, like we said in the topic earlier, you save about £1,300 by going for the aluminium version.
Sign me up.
Carbon,
Yeah, awesome. What else have we got in the news this week?
So Chris King have released some wheels. They are the MT30s. Which is, they are fancy. Sorry, the MTN 30s. And basically their big strap line, although this is the first time they've brought out carbon rims, it's a full wheel set with their hubs. But their big strap line is that these are 100% recyclable carbon. It is a big claim. I looked into this a bit and they haven't gone into detail about it, but they do say that basically they reckon these wheels will last you forever.
Wow.
Big statement.
Send us a pair over, please, Chris King. Let's have a gander at that.
But in an incident that they break and they don't, then they've got a path for them that doesn't go into landfill.
That's
now, there are a couple of manufacturers out there that do recycle carbon, so I think they're probably giving them to a recycling plant rather than put them in landfill.
Still better, isn't it?
Yeah. You know what? Chris King have always been at the forefront of trying to better the planet and keep things out of landfill. In fact, they invented the Chris King hubs because they wanted something that was replaceable, serviceable, constantly fixable for a lifetime warranty on bearings, lifetime use, just to keep things out of landfill. So they're carrying it on. And
I've just read something in your notes here. This is actually something I quite like the look of, just briefly on the news here, is that they have avoided using an epoxy-based resin, giving 50% increase in damping properties. Now, for those maybe who haven't used a carbon wheel before, carbon wheels are very, very stiff. You get a lot of feedback through them, especially if you have them laced up really tight. So actually to kind of incorporate that into the build is quite exciting. Yeah, and that's another, it's not just all about recyclable wheels here. You've got a wheel set which you can buy as 29er or mixed or 650B. So you've got the options of buying. You don't have to mix and match. 28 hole. And, you know, they're basically supposed to be a little bit, not softer, but... more compliant. Yeah. A bit more compliant. More damping qualities. Nice. So hats off to them. They're only available direct through Chris King at the moment at $2,550. Whether they'll start coming through into distributors or not, don't know. But keep an eye on those. Yes. Right, next up The world of 3D printing is back up on us. Yes, specialised Power Pro saddle with mirror.
Yes, mirror.
Like a little compact. Pew! Hello. Is it? I don't know.
No, you don't get a freebie with it. So mirror is their 3D printing, basically, technology.
Okay, and that is why you're on Tech More. Anyway, looks really good. 55 gram weight penalty. I think 55 grams, not a great deal.
We're talking 2 slices of bread.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually looked that up. 2
Did you
slices
really?
of bread, yeah, is what 50 grams is.
Gosh.
So you're saving £100 and only gaining 2 slices of bread.
Okay.
Just saying.
It is pressure mat tested and is believed to be less pressure than traditional foam saddles. So if you are someone of the epic ride persuasion, like myself maybe, then something like this would be really good. The all singing, all dancing version is 290 UK pounds, 370 euros, $325 and 500 Australian dollars.
Yeah, so they've been doing the S-Works mirror saddle for a while now. The roadies are well into it.
Yeah.
Apparently it is the most comfortable saddle that has ever been made.
Big claim.
But it is about 400 quid, so it's a lot of money.
Yes.
And this one's slightly more affordable, but they're saying it's now for not just road use, basically,
Yeah,
which is
interesting.
why we're talking about it today.
Nice.
Would you give it a go?
Yeah, definitely.
I'd
Saves
be
your butt.
into it.
Yeah. Anything that can make those big old long rides I do a bit more comfortable is always a good thing to try, I think. So
Yeah,
it's
I'm
nice
up
to see
for
people venturing out there. Right.
So Nukeproof have dropped some more clothing. They've obviously done clothing before. I'm a big fan of their clothing, but they now have a women's range and a youth range as well. So, expanded women's range, and I love what they're doing. So let me show you, Rich. There's some tie-dye numbers here. We've got some little polka dot numbers. What are you saying? I think it's jazzy. I like
Too
it.
jazzy?
Too jazzy?
No, never too jazzy. No, I like it. I use their bibs a lot. They're great. They've got these stash bibs with pockets in the back. I think, Nukeproof actually, maybe not renowned as a clothing company. I mean, they're not a clothing company, but for their clothing. But I think actually, great. And the great new designs are good too.
No, they're reasonably priced. They're starting at about £40 for jersey and £50 for shorts. That's about reasonable price here in the UK. And they're doing usual tech, but they're using blue sign fabrics as well, which again is just a little bit more sustainable manufacturing process, less packaging. Can't go wrong, really.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Lovely
exactly.
stuff. Right, next up is the Fox Origin films. No, not a version of X-Men or anything like that. No, I haven't actually, but they do look great. So basically, you can meet Bob Fox, an engineer who rode moto back in the 70s, basically got sick of suspension braking. So he's like, hey, I'm going to make my own. And it ain't going to break. Basically pioneering sort of the suspension world, if you like. And and that's what it is all about. I've got the link here, and I'm going to give it a watch.
You
after
should
this.
watch it. So it's a short film. It's worth a watch. But I think this is the start of some various insights into Bob Fox and Fox suspension and
really interesting.
The pioneers behind air suspension. We have to thank them for. But
go search it out. It's a good one. And last but not least, what have we got?
Okay, I just want to give a big shout out to Project Evolve. Actually, it's something I was a part of yesterday, Bank Holiday Monday, where 140 women took over Revolution Bike Park in the middle of Wales. Now, just to put it into context, they usually get about 90 riders on the day.
Just across the board?
Usually on a weekend day, at that trail centre is about 90 riders. And there was 140 recorded women, because there was a lot of pros that turned up as well. Yeah.
Wow,
so,
that's amazing.
Yeah, and it was huge. We basically had this massive lady train down the red free ride trail. There were people getting sort of coached and inspired to ride Vision Line, which, have you ever ridden Vision Line?
I've never been actually to Revs. I've still not got around to it.
Yeah, it's a big pro line, and it's just so good to see women sending really big jumps.
Amazing.
You had like Joey Goff there, like Fred and Vero Sandler, who was sort of organising it, fresh off like Audi 9s. Basically just inspired by like the Future Ground and the sort of women's revolution.
Awesome.
Free ride, and it's really good to see it.
Need more events like it, don't we, really?
We really do, I was kind of inspired to do some more big stuff. I need to get more sendy. I do.
Let's go send it. Right, well, anyway, that's on that sendy note, that's the news for now, isn't it?
It is,
Nice one. Let's get quizzical. Quizzical. It's quiz time.
I Oh, Lord. Yes,
Yeah.
it is. It is quiz time.
Shall I read the first one?
Yeah, go for it
All right,
while I recover from that song.
Yeah, I don't know any quizzy songs. Who founded Fox Suspension? Pretty simple one to start with, I think.
I think we might have given this away.
Yeah, too right.
Next up, who was the first bicycle manufacturer to be certified B Corp?
Not a clue.
I'll explain it later.
Knowing what B Corp is in itself is a good question, isn't it? When was the latest version of the YT Capra first released? Answers on a postcard, please.
Okay, so let's check out the comments from last week. And you were a presenter
I was,
on last
yeah.
week, so you actually know what these are talking about. And I've got a good one to start with you. I've got Michael K, who says it's...
Michael K?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Wow.
And he says it's the first time I've watched the tech show for a while. I've been watching The Other Side. That might be your show. I hope it's not GCN. And he said, Anna is great. Oh, thanks, Michael. And keep Rich every week.
Although he needs to wake up a bit earlier. It was an early show last week, all right? For those that you watched.
We had to go off for a photo shoot to
So we were
release
in
some, I'm not trying to like plug
GMBN
anything
merch.
here, but there was some merch
Yeah,
and we had
come
a
on.
photo shoot and we had to be up at 8:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
So
it was really early.
It was really, really early.
Right, next up. MS Sagu 29.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Complete bikes start from 7,800. Anna. Yeah, that's not bad. LOL.
Yeah, mic drop. A couple of people really kicked back on that one. You got to put it into context. I'm not saying 700-800 is a reasonable amount of money for a bike, but the spec and what you are getting, other brands are selling them for $9,000. So I'm just saying it was reasonable for what you were getting. But I'm totally with you. It's not completely reasonable for everyday bikes. Sorry,
everyday
guys.
people.
I apologise.
Yeah.
So Memphis Semph said, awesome video. Thanks, guys. Bikes are definitely getting, as you say, lower, slacker, longer. But in my opinion, I don't think it's bad, especially with all the flip chips, reach adjustments on new bikes. He's right, isn't he? Like, you can adjust things slightly on a lot of bikes these days.
I have a view. I'm love and... Oh, no, we could go through it. Love and hate flip chips. Why not just make a bike with the right angles to begin with?
Maybe it's just appealing to a wider audience.
That could be next week's tech discussion. Flip chips.
Maybe. I know.
Worth it or waste?
Let us know.
Yeah. All right. Minus 28. If I buy a new bike with a long enough reach, it will now typically come with a dropper so long that I can't get my leg over the saddle, even with the post slammed. Offering bigger droppers is great, but it needs to just be an option. Otherwise, they've also restricted height adjustment as part of the crazy sizing. It's a valid point.
Yeah, I mean, people like Orbea are doing a really good job of making sure that all their frames are quite sort of slammed in the seat post length.
Yeah.
So it is making it easier for you to, put smaller posts in or longer posts in, depending on whatever reach you want. So
Very true.
I get you, but, some brands are doing all right.
So that's an easy fix, though.
Is it?
Yeah, I reckon.
Wow. So Daryl Vlasak, Doddy would totally geek out on that wireless shifter. You remember
the buttons? Beep, beep.
Top mod?
Too right.
Yeah, that's one of the coolest mods I've seen in a while. I'd love to get more info on that. Yeah, Top Modder, we still haven't heard from you how you hacked those little buttons. So let us know. Please let us know.
Right. Oh, God, you're giving me some monster ones here. Tone Lope. Love the video. Thank you very much. I have a 2019 large YT Jepsy with a 445mm reach and 510 and it feels spot on. And the newer Jepsy's large has a reach of 470. So I'd get a medium. With the 450mm reach, my bike handles great. And I think there's only so far mountain bike reach numbers can get. It's more important to get something that you feel the most balanced and comfortable on. I agree. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we were chatting about last week on the show. So if you haven't seen it, go over to the last Shapeshifting show and join the debate in the comments.
Yeah.
So Zed Browning, we're talking about the Kotick bike here, the e-bike prototype, and he said, I feel like the Still Loving Hardtailers and the e-bike bunch are two separate circles on a Venn diagram. So he doesn't think...
Well, what about that bit in the middle?
I know. I would have thought steel people, e-bike lovers, that's what a Venn diagram is. And even got Kotick jumping in here, actual Kotick bikes, saying, we have a fair amount of interest in the E, but I think quite a few of us still loving hardtailers are getting on a bit.
Whoa. From the horse's mouth right there.
Ouch, Kotick. We have been going nearly 20 years after all.
Fair dues.
Bringing out something for their steel lovers.
Yeah, I like this. Will hoon for food.
Nice.
I would definitely hoon for food. Great chemistry.
Aww.
Whoa, weird. I wish Kotick would actually... Kotick or Kotick did we decide?
Kotick, yeah. Like psychotic, yeah.
Right, let me start that again. Great chemistry. I wish Kotick would actually produce the crazy-looking steel e-bike prototype with the gnarly-looking skid plate, battery, cover.
Yeah.
Forget trying to look like a bloated acoustic bike and embrace the Mad Max look. Yes!
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm glad you agree with me.
Obviously, like spears coming off of it and like barbed wire wrapped around the bars maybe and like a real gnarly paint job.
Yeah, sure.
Food.
One final one here from Jacob Giller. He says, sizing is so hard. I'm 6'1" and always fall in between medium and large categories. Same as you.
Yeah.
When spending thousands of dollars, it's very stressful thinking you might get the wrong size bike. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Some brands, I should say, do allow you to try out bikes and send it back if it's the wrong size. Like Canyon do it, but you can't go and shred it for a month on the trails and then send it back. You just have to get used to it in your home. But, you know, I get what you're saying. But go into a local bike shop. We should be going to local bike shops if you're not sure.
Or just blag it off your mate. If like your friend's got one and you're like, oh, let's have a gander.
Good. Yeah, no, that's good advice.
There we go.
So Martyn Ashtons went to the cycle show in London the other week and he spotted a bit of retro bling. So what you got for us, Martyn?
Hey Anna, I'm here at the cycle show at Alexander Palace and I've just spotted some amazing retro. Look at this. This is a 1992 GT Trials bike. The Team Trials, this is what Hans Ray was riding in all his demos back in the day. And this guy, Chris Ackrig, he used to have a go on them and all. Amazing bike. I'll look for some more retro stuff, but I tell you what, I'm going to be hard pressed to find a nicer bit of retro than this, because we all have a bit of trials, don't we? Look at that. Woo! That is nice. Talk about retro. Look at this, a whole corridor full of them. I'll just take a little jaunt down. So it's a lovely old school Martyn. Which one is this? It's the Mount Vision Pro. From 1999. Oh, look, Pace RC200. Lovely. Look at that nice old school purple. Next one is something quite special. It's a Cannondale Super V. Look at that. Even with them bar ends, it looks amazing. And that's saying something. Next up, oh, look at this. GT RTS1. Look at that. Can nearly see Rob Warner on that one. Look at it. Oh. Next up, we've got a Yeti Arc. Beautiful. The purple anodized just dates it so much. And we've got Steve Bear. That's something ancient as well. And then we've got, this is a, which one's this? This is a Klein Attitude. I love it, but it's got a front shock on it. And I like my Kleins rigid. Just so. Some really good ones down here. This one, I'm pretty sure, is Miles. But this is Miles Rockwell's. Do you know how we know that? It says it on the frame. It was obvious. That's Miles Rockwell's. Look at the chain ring on this bike. It's like a dinner plate. So there you go. There's lots of classics at the cycle show this year. It's really fun to see them all. And there's lots on the stands as well. So I think there's a bit of a retro theme running through the entire show. But there you go. There's my quick little throwback update.
Well, thanks, Martyn. Might have known you picked a retro Charles bike. Anyway, we've got some quiz answers for you people you've been dying to know. So what was your first question?
It was, who founded Fox Suspension? And it was, of course, Bob Fox. Nice.
Yeah, that is a strong name. Absolutely love that. Who was the first bicycle manufacturer to achieve B Corp certification? And it was Chris King. B Corp is a private certification, basically, for for-profit companies, which basically checks that they're doing good stuff for the planet. So
Yeah.
this is being nice to the employees, bringing out products that are good for the planet, and having, you know, techniques in their factory that are more sustainable. So yeah.
Nice, nice. And then finally, when was the latest version of the YT Capra released? It was, of course, Anna.
2021.
Nailed
2021.
it.
It was last year, yeah.
Yeah, so if you got all
recent.
3 of those correct, well, congratulations, you're flipping clever.
And of course, don't forget our topic today was aluminium versus carbon. So do join the debate down below
Weigh
and
in.
let us know what you think.
Yes.
And join us next Wednesday for the next Tech
I'll
Show.
be here on Wednesday. Whether Anna makes it, nobody knows. But thank you very much for watching, everyone. We'll see you later.
Thanks for watching.